Jerry said to me when we first met him that Christian Gudegast is the most prepared director that we've ever worked with because he's written the script and he knows exactly what he wants. And he just is kind of a genius at writing and directing. And yeah, it's a big advantage when you have somebody who is that gifted, directing a script that he wrote. The two of them had a great relationship in the first movie, but the relationship now becomes even deeper and more fulfilling. And I'm not going to give away what's going on in this movie, but for fans of the first one, this is an extraordinary film. For people who never saw the first one, this is going to be an amazing, amazing journey for them. And they're going to want to see Den of Thieves 1. Jerry Butler. Well, Jerry's my producing partner, and also I manage his career. And he is Big Nick. I mean, if anyone saw the first movie, they would know that it's a different character than Jerry's ever played before. And this character that he's doing now in Den of Thieves 2 is a character that has fallen on hard times, like really hard times. And Jerry is knocking out of the ballpark. I'm so proud of what he's bringing every day to the set. It's amazing to watch him, actually. O'Shea just makes me laugh. When you're with him on the set, I mean, he brings such levity and such, charm, and he's just so winning. And on screen, the camera really captures that. He's so much fun to be around. Well, I think audiences, when they see this in the theater, will find themselves being, sucked into a world that they've never really seen before. And I think they will be very, very excited by it. I mean, how many people get to witness a heist in a foreign country? And I think they will be on a very, very exciting ride seeing this movie. I'm just excited to watch the audience the first time we have a screening of it and seeing their faces, because this movie is gonna be a big, big, big deal.
So yeah, on Den 1, I kept the gangsters and the cops separate, and we did separate training, and I would go hang out with the gangsters one night, go to dinner with them, and go training, go shooting, and the next day I'd go hang out with the cops, the regulators, Gerard and all those guys. We kept them separate, specifically to sort of build up that kind of natural sort of competitiveness and animosity, and that carried through on the set and actually worked perfectly. But this film was a different deal, because really of course, ostensibly the movie's about diamond thieves and diamond heists and gangsters in Europe, and that's the setting. But really, at its heart and at its core, the film is sort of it's a buddy movie. It's a love story between two guys, between a cop, Nick, and a thief, Donnie, former adversaries who now sort of kind of learn to love each other. A lot of the actors had to learn French or learn English or a little bit of Serbian. But O'Shea, Donnie, definitely had the most difficult task. He had to learn Serbian, French, then he had to play his cover, Jean-Jacques Diallo, who is from the Ivory Coast, so French-speaking Africa. And then when we started doing it, I'm like, he just crushed it, he nailed it. So he was just really, really impressive. He's just incredibly gifted. He's such a brilliant guy, such a sweet guy, but he's brilliant. He's incredibly talented. And his performance was just unreal. Fighters have a look and an energy that you simply can't fake. And in the kind of films that I make that are in the worlds of crime and gangsters, the reality of those worlds is they are tough, tough worlds. And these guys, these actors in this film, and even in Den 1, are representative of that. You can't fake that shit. And a lot of them are actually very, very talented at it. So Ricky Verhoeven is one. Michael Bisping was also in it. And they're all great guys, very bright, and they all really have sort of fallen in love with the whole acting game. I wrote in the script specifically the Porsche Taycan as the car in the script before I had any idea Porsche was going to be involved, knowing that, of course, they probably won't be involved and may become an Audi or a Peugeot or who knows, or Renault, whatever. two things about the sequence. I wanted to be tactically spot on, meaning there is a very specific way to fight a gunfight from vehicle to vehicle. So I wanted to show that. So I worked with my advisor, Slavko as to the specifics of vehicle-to-vehicle gun battle and what that looks like and what one does, how it differs from, you know, CQB or whatever. So scripted that and then put in the Porsche Taycan because of the specifics of the road. Again, all the roads as written were based on real roads that I drove. And it is the first electric car chase ever. And also the rigs they built for us, from the biscuit rig to the pod, have never been done before on the electric cars. So the end result, I think, is going to be pretty spectacular. You know, it takes so many people to make a movie that, you know, you need partners. You know, and Tucker and I started this business together virtually. Been working together for, God, what now, 25 years, something like that? I mean, crazy. You know, he's my brother, you know, and he's been just incredibly supportive. And he and I, you know, we held the torch in this forever from the very beginning. He and I knew from the very beginning this was going to be a hit. We know that there's a franchise, and he and I, we pushed this through, you know, and we made it happen. We never gave up. And that's because of our belief in it, you know, and our belief in both this movie and then the franchise. And so he's been fundamental in it all, as a producer and now also as a financier. So our partnership is, you know, it's just, it's one that will last, I think, for the rest of our careers. The best part of making this movie was to see the relationships that the cast built with one another, starting with Jerry and O'Shea, and the brotherhood and the bond and the sisterhood between all of us. All the Panthers, from Evin to Salvatore to Dino Kelly to see all those characters come to life and to see how everybody got along and to see the just sort of the love between everybody brought it every single day. The enthusiasm and the love that everybody brought to this project is really, it's touching, you know. Watching him perform was unreal. It was surreal for me because he was, again, doing it, the specificity, the little moments that he would pick up on from the script exactly as I had written them. And then he would even exceed it. I found his performance to be extraordinary. And he completely and totally embodies Big Nick and just brings the, you know, the gravitas, the tortured soul, the humor, the weight, and just all the little moments he was able to play, all the little nuances he was able to bring to all the expressions, all the moments was just, it was a joy to watch.
Well, I really liked Christian's writing. I thought it was like, it was flowing, and that's kind of what you want as an actress. And I thought Christian was cool. I thought the character was awesome. And also, like, because he's writing it and directing it, I felt that that was a very interesting way to work. I think Jovanna is like, she has a specific type of color when it comes to, you know, it's like when you're making a cake, she is a very specific ingredients within this world, which I think is very nice. And she's fun to play. There are a lot of us from the cast living in the same hotel. So it almost feels like being back to summer camp. And it's nice, you know, we have breakfast together, we chill by the pool, we hang out, we talk. It's very fun. They're so nice.
It's so smart, it's so elevated, and yet he still, as a writer, has this way of keeping things, you know, gritty and real and grounded. I mean, that's the idea, really, you know, is where is Nick going? Where's Donnie going? Can they trust each other? There's this real Butch Cassidy and Sundance element, except maybe it's even more than that, because at the same time, one is still a cop and one's a villain, and who is ultimately going to screw over the other one, or not, you know? You never quite know which way it's going to go, and that's a fascinating thing to play, and that's the thing that I was saying is very tricky, because we're not just dealing with the technicalities of this story, we're also talking about these two characters who are starting to bond, surprisingly. I couldn't speak more highly about this island and its people and the crew. and their work ethic. This island is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been, and it just took me by surprise. You know, even just as a visitor to see what this island has, but then to use it cinematically in all that scope. And it is actually, because there's a lot of different influences in Tenerife, you know, that it can double for a lot of different places. I mean, basically Tenerife here has been Heathrow, it's been airports, it's been Marseille, it's been Nice. I'm thinking we're missing other places, but I'm constantly like, oh my God, now we're here, but we're still just in Tenerife. O'Shea is my hero. There's nobody like O'Shea Jackson. There really isn't, in terms of his mind, where that mind goes. You know, you're just constantly like, because sometimes he says that to me, dude, what do you want? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, and that's coming from O'Shea Jackson, who has these streams of, he's a genius. He's like a savant, you know, he's so intelligent and unusual in his thought process. Who, you know, it's funny because he's obviously the son of a notorious, you know, hip hop artist who has a badass reputation, and yet you couldn't meet a better brought up kid, you know? He's just the biggest heart, so nice with everybody. This movie, I didn't really slap him around so much, so we had more of a chance to talk and hang out and spend time together. And even we both rented villas. It's a big island, but we rented villas right next door to each other, and we had some great heart-to-hearts, you know? But then as an actor, he's so talented, and it's effortless. I know Christian as a director, he leads such a, you know, we make these movies, especially in the Den movies, we try to do so much, get so much in. So there's a lot going on, and yet the energy is always really great, because Christian's not a guy that loses his temper. He loves his actors. You know, he gets stressed out, as does everybody, but not with other people. He just gets stressed because he wants the day to be, you know, us to get through everything. He wants everything he has in that script in there. But that you know, that trickles down through everybody, you know. And for me as well as the lead actor, I always try and be nice with everybody. So when you got me and Christian and then O'Shea, you know, when that's your three guys on set, it's really, you know, it helps create a nice, fun atmosphere, you know, and also letting people know that their work is appreciated, and we know how hard they are working to get this done. This was a tricky one because there was so much maneuvering of guns inside a Porsche, which, much as it's a beautiful car, it wasn't designed for you know, full-length guns, reloading. And then the tricky thing in this was a lot of the time we were firing backwards, so it was tricky. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, scary. You know, the stuff, it's a huge car chase sequence. It's fantastic. And there's various cars involved and swinging around each other, and guys jumping out, firing, jumping back in, reloading, firing, getting hit, almost getting hit, hitting them hitting us. Things smashing up the whole time, so you're constantly being covered in glass and bits of metal or bullets. It was full on. This movie really brings the whole gambit of both what is super joyous and what is super tough and what is everything in between. And I think that I had a blast doing the action stuff, but a lot of that was just really like hot and sweaty, and what we were doing, a lot of those times, guerrilla filmmaking, that's my favorite. When you don't have a chance to think, you just go and you're filming fast and you're getting everybody's truthful reactions. I love that, except for, I say, the struggle it was in this heat. I think that in this movie, and because what this movie does bring is a lot of fun action. It's really a kind of thinking man's heist movie. It's like I say, it's very savvy and elevated kind of writing. But it also brings a lot of personality. And so I would say that I think that the performance-based scenes of just guys getting to know each other, they were great. And that's what I'm excited about for this movie, because it works on, or it offers a lot of color and ticks a lot of boxes in terms of a movie with drama, that's a thriller, that's a comedy, that's action, and that's as I say, very, very kind of smart and involved and specific and how it explains how this world works. I think that the first movie, it kind of had a heat flavor, but maybe at times even more kind of socially, economically involved, that kind of, I love that part of it, but it definitely had a heavier element. And I think that this movie is like, okay, we served our time there. Now let's take this and have fun. And as I say, let's go to that Butch Cassidy and Sundance element, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid element, but let's take it to Europe and let's see, what if Nick did catch up with Donnie? Donnie thinks he's screwed, but then Nick goes, it's not what you think, And then the whole movie opens up into something else. The two of these guys actually in cahoots with a whole new gang themselves who are fascinating in their own right. So it has a kind of a sexier, cool European vibe to it. And like I said, it's like if the first Dan took a holiday and had a pina colada, but not belying its roots of gritty, it stays grounded and real, even in all the action. It just feels very authentic, right? So it's a very specific tone that it has to it, and yet it has the ability to kind of have fun with it as well, and characters that I think you can really get involved with and grow to kind of have fun with and care about. A story that's fascinating and gets more and more exciting as the time goes on, and the twists and turns, which has become, I think, a hallmark of, hopefully will continue to be a hallmark of the Den of Thieves franchise.
When I read her and her scenes, I was like, this is me. Not like this is me in real life, but this is the force I know. She's a badass woman. She knows what she wants. She comes from, she comes from very far. She has been working very hard to get here. She knows what she wants, and she's badass. She is not afraid of anyone, anything. Yeah, she's courageous. And also, not because she wants to make money, she's not afraid to bend the rules. This was such a great experience. The Spanish crew, Christian, the producers, my colleagues, everybody was so nice. This was an awesome experience. And Tenerife, so I loved it. It's in his DNA. It's like, he knows it so well, and the vision he holds for it is so inside of him, and he shares it. And so there is this innate knowing, and which is not, he doesn't isolate you from it. He shares the vision with so much passion. I was really inspired by Christian because, people can be great directors, but I value people of how they are outside the set, then people. Amazing. Yeah. Such a real person. Again, as I said, I've known him, of course, as an actor. I've seen films of him before we started. I've watched his films again to try to feel like behind the scenes, from actor to actor, what is it that he's doing? And on this set, again, you see the person, behind the scenes. There's so much he has to carry, and he does this with so much generosity and warmth, and always having real heartfelt time for everybody, open, but also, and available, emotionally available as a human being. When the audience sees Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, in the theaters, I hope they are left with a little bit of vengeance towards Donnie, you know, like the guy went away, and I hope they are like, okay, what are we gonna do? Are we going after this guy? And then I hope they are like swept off their feet because of, you know, it starts immediately with action and everything. And yeah, going on this great journey. And I hope they all fall in love with Europe, the beauty of Europe, and all the different cultures and ethnicities that are in this movie. And I hope that they don't know who to root for, you know? And at the end, feel deeply satisfied of this adventure that they came with us.
My first impression of the script when I read it was, you know, here goes Christian again. Christian is about to throw me in the ocean. Christian is about to make me get in high-speed chases, but we got to go bigger and better. Everyone really loved the first film. And, yeah, it's hard to top a home run. So, you know, you have to step it up in more ways than one. And I could feel that was the pressure Christian put on himself just from reading it. I really feel like Donnie, in this one, you kind of start to see who he really is, and even then, it's still just the surface. In the first Den of Thieves, he's kind of just the guy in the background because, you know, he's the mastermind behind everything. So he doesn't want to make waves. He doesn't want to stand out. But yeah, Donnie is now in his own element. He's calling the shots. He knows what he brings to the table, and he realizes what a major asset he is. And, you know, Donnie can do it without you, but you can't do it without Donnie. You know, me and Christian, we always hit it off. We both kind of have the same energy as far as things that we like, we can make you love. And Christian, because he could sell water to a drowning man. This dude is like, he can hype me up for about anything. But I know that Den of Thieves is his baby, you know, and when you have somebody as passionate as Christian and the attention to detail that he's going to give because he loves Den of Thieves, you know you're in good hands. It's great to see Gerard, during the first Den of Thieves, Christian kept the outlaws and the regulators separate. So it wasn't a lot of, you know, hanging out between cops and robbers. So I didn't really get a chance to pick his brain or you know, kind of really kick it in the first film. So this go around, we talk a whole lot more. He's my neighbor, so I'm seeing him every day. But Gerard is a cool dude. He definitely has the experience with action movies. I mean, every damn thing he does is an action movie. So he's well versed in the genre. And yeah, been picking his brain, you know, getting tips, getting, you know, pats on the back when I deserve it, which is all the time. And yeah, it's been a great ride. My man Jerry. I want people to be on another, you know, adrenaline-fueled thrill ride like they did in the first one. You know that there's going to be some mind games being played. You always have to stay on your toes when it comes to Den of Thieves. And, yeah, just have a good time. So you have to stay locked in. And, yeah, just enjoy yourself at the movies.
I mean, Gerard Butler, it's Gerard Butler, you know. We're talking about Jerry now, so he's the leader of this show, definitely. We've grown up with him. Respect, you know, what he did. And it's, for me, it's a blessing. I'm so lucky to be part of this project, you know, with him also, with O'Shea, which is, I've got the best impression for O'Shea Jackson on this show. So, such a human being, such a humble guy, he comes from, of course, big fan of his dad. So respect him a lot. But also the other cast, I've been with him a month here in Tenerife, and we've been just friends and family now, you know. the most important is because he knows everything. He wrote himself, he knows the characters, he knows the plans, he knows the twist, he knows the drama, he knows how the thriller gonna go. And I met him the first time in Tenerife, the first day I came, and he explained everything about my character. I think the public gonna love it. The public gonna enjoy it. And we're gonna see another action movie, a thriller.
Obviously, with Gerard and O'Shea, two very different personalities. Both are great to work with. They're really enthused by the film, I think, and want to give suggestions and give their all. He's really dived in and done literally 99% of everything, which has been great. The opening sequence, we had all the toys at the airport, which was a complicated location, security-wise, getting everyone in, and doing high-speed car chases at the airport. But they were very, very welcoming and everything we wanted, I think we achieved. Obviously, the big thing coming up is the car chases, which we've done. Many rehearsals, and they're rehearsing more and more. I have to give a shout out to Porsche, who have been amazing partners. They sent us 6 cars, and Owen from Porsche has been instrumental in just supporting the production like unbelievably. But we've actually built biscuit rig and pods on top, and actually. They believe that's actually the first time a pod has actually been built on an electric vehicle for a movie. So, Guinness Book of Records, there you go. It's a smart movie, as in the planning, the execution. I think there's laughs, there's a lot of tension, there's some cool action. And I think audiences will engage in it, and everyone likes, the twists and the turns of the plot, and and the ending. It's a cool ending, and then what happens next? What happens to Nick?
For me to please Slavko was a real challenge, because Slavko is supposed to be Serbian. So I have to learn some Serbian languages. I'm Italian, and I have to speak English too. So it was a really challenge for me to do all these things. And then we have to do a lot of action stuff. So it was funny, but it was at the same time, a little bit intense. So if I have to say a word to explain what Slavko will do in this movie, I would love to say intense. So look at him from outside. He was, he's a tough guy. He's greatest actor, one of the greatest actor. And I have to say he's a great actor, great man, so funny. So we spent a lot of time to have fun with him, with O'Shea, with the other guys. So it was, and he's a really honor for me to work with him. I know some of the movie that he wrote, so at the beginning I was, curious to know him, to understand his mind, understand how it's gonna be the work with him, and I have to say that it's fantastic. Because it's not just a director, because he can direct, the scene, the set in a very good way. He's always in a good mood. He always give you help in everything, so it's fantastic. But like writer, he can help you about the lines. I think I loved every single moment on this set, because it's always not just an amazing experience, it's something different to work with people that comes from all around the world, not just American. I'm Italian, there's the Balkans, there's having like from Sweden, people from all around the world. And, we are in this beautiful land. So it was fantastic. I think the audience will love, if they loved for sure the first movie, they will love this one more and more, because it's not just the first movie. There's something that makes a lot of mix of power, love, action, feelings, emotions. So I think they will love it more and more and more.
In Den of Thieves 1, Nick is the law. So he is 100% focused on putting Donnie behind bars. In Den of Thieves 2, Nick actually joins Donnie. As we see at the end of Den of Thieves 1, Nick's life is in shambles. He's getting a divorce. He's fired, basically, off the police force, or suspended off the police force. And he catches a news report about this big diamond heist and realizes that it's most likely Donnie who's doing this. And instead of flying to Europe to arrest Donnie, he decides at some point in time that if you can't beat him, join him. And so the relationship in Den of Thieves to Pantera is much more a buddy film between Donnie and Nick. It really is. They have a really funny banter and relationship back and forth. But you also don't quite trust that you're on solid ground through the movie, either on Donnie's side or on Nick's side, and we have lots of surprises and twists and turns. Christian is a stickler for accuracy, and so every detail of this movie is really, really thoroughly researched, and I think we portrayed everything with a real specificity. And people who know the world and who know the diamond world and cops and, kind of experts in the field will absolutely appreciate that and recognize it, as they did with the first Den of Thieves. We were blessed, really, to find such amazing talent in this movie. All of our actors, literally there's not a weak link. And I find myself saying that a lot on movies, but it's true. We were just blessed to have amazing talent in the movie. And part of the challenge was, how do we find people and actors who will understand what we're trying to accomplish, feel organic to this world of sort of seedy underworld, European criminals, but also have their own arcs. And they were all phenomenal at it. It was really great. We were lucky to have everyone. We got lucky. We had a great crew. I mean, they all work really, really, really hard. They're proud of what they do. And they take it very, very seriously, and it's not an easy task. We had a lot of action, a lot of big set pieces. We had small, intimate scenes and big car chases, and and the camera was always seeing lots of things in the background. So we have a big visual effects department in the film as well. So, everybody worked phenomenally well together, in concert with each other. People got along. We won the Porsche lottery. In pre-production, we had really a huge task to find the cars for the bad guys and the good guys, and the cars that would work and play in our final shootout, car chase and shootout. And cars are expensive, and these ones needed to go really, really fast and look really, really cool. Porsche came to our rescue. They literally had designed the cars. There were 5 Porsches in the film, several of which are on camera, some of which were support, but they were about to destroy all 5 because they were built for another project pre-COVID. And that project went away, and it was a day or two before they were going to be destroyed. And our product placement people, Adam and Kat Stone, called Porsche, and by coincidence, they said, well, we just happen to have 5 brand new, perfectly tailored to shoot your movie Porsches available. So we definitely won the lottery with regard to that. The thing that they did that was so innovative and cool is as we all know today, all of these cars are computerized. They're driving computers, And what we had to do from a logistics standpoint and to shoot this the right way was we had to build a pod. And so we took all of the literally all of the wiring out of the Hero Porsche and wired it up to a pod on top of the Porsche where the driver sat and drove the car. So our actors could act in the car as if they were driving, but the pod was actually responsible for the driving. But it might sound, oh, you just take all the wires and put them up. That might sound easy. It was a phenomenal task, and I think has never been done before on a film. We're the first film, I believe, to have these electric Porsches. Important distinction, electric Porsches playing on screen. I'm hoping that the audience experiences the truth of this story, the specificity and realness of these characters, but has a lot of fun on the journey. The movie is a ton of fun. It's really fun to watch really smart bad guys outsmarting really smart good guys, and then figuring out that some of the good guys are actually bad guys and vice versa. There's a lot of thinking that's involved in this film, a lot of twists and turns. It's a roller coaster. It's a lot of fun.